This look is literally giving Emily, and I'm even sick like she was at that famous evening where she couldn't remember all of the list. So I feel honored that that is what I'm looking like. The Devil Wears Prada too, right? It's coming and I'm so excited. Today I want to talk a bit about expectations from The Devil Wears Prada 1. I want to confront it with the book 2 that we already got from the author of The Devil Wears Prada. And I want to react to the final trailer because I'm so excited. The initial time I actually watched the first trailer, I screamed. So I want to do it with you. I want to check what it's all about. So without any further ado, let's get into The Devil Wears Prada hype. I'm so excited. Let's watch the trailer. I want to react live to it. My laptop is here next to me. I'm gonna put it on the screen.
So I used to have your job.
Okay. Already, I think that the new girl that is Miranda's assistant, or at least what it looks like, is much more like Emily than like Andy. And I'm gonna talk about some confrontations with the book that I'm actually reading after the trailer, but I'm already seeing some differences.
Paris Fashion Week. Or a bunch of pieces from the Chanel collection that year.
Okay.
You still have all of it? No, I gave it away. What? Would have been a bit much for a newsroom. This is you. Oh. Who gives away Chanel?
Okay, definitely this girl. She is much more Emily than Andy, but I'm not mad. She looks super fashionable, super like what you would expect someone working at runway to be like, and I'm excited. It didn't start like this in the other presentations that we watched. It was more like at the beginning when Miranda calls her and asks her to work together. Okay, this one is a callback to the original movie. In The Devil Wears Prada 1, we have the shot where she prepares herself in the morning, brushes her teeth. Maybe we're gonna get a montage of her preparing herself and showing the differences with movie number 1. That is confidence that we see.
You are here to help us through our current scandal.
Ooh. Another scandal. Miranda's always in it. When we left the first movie, she was divorcing. Now I don't know what the scandal is, but it's gonna be big, and she is gonna be helping, I guess.
Click, 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 everywhere.
But I did not hire you, and all I need to do is bide my time until you fail. Won't you take the train, dear?
Miranda's not changing in this movie. She is still expecting Andy to fail, even though she clearly has some confidence in this girl because she is hiring her. She is maybe using her as bait while she escapes the eyes of the public, but there is still some confidence. Miranda, I see you, girl. You are saying that you don't trust her, that you are putting her in the spotlight just to get away from it, but there is some confidence because she is still here. She's been called back, so she made an impression on you.
Might be on time, just wait, I'm coming.
Oh,
I'm going to make something of this job.
You could write a book. The definitive Miranda Priestly expose.
We're gonna have a Miranda Priestly expose. Are we? Okay, that's gonna be fun. That gives me Rita Skeeter vibes on the Dumbledore expose. Not really looking good. In the first trailer that we got at the beginning, no one remembered who Handy was, and that's something I want to comment on, and I think in this trailer we're not gonna get it.
May the bridges I burn light my way.
Here, there is a link between the two girls. They are on a boat together, and that one recalls the book. I don't know how the movie is gonna be like, but from what we got from the other trailer, it looked like there was an hallucination. They hadn't seen each other in a while, and they are getting back together afterwards. But in the book, we don't get that.
Wait. I hope that's not what you're wearing to the dinner. That's all.
No, no, no. That is so much on the nose. I don't think that she actually means it. I don't think that Miranda actually means that she doesn't like what Indy is wearing, because I think that she has improved in her style choices a lot. So, too much on the nose. That we're getting just that for the memes. I don't think that's gonna be a thing.
Fendi, we need that. The Brunello Cucinelli pants, love.
Once again, we have the wardrobe thing.
And you definitely need an embroidered two-piece totem set, but not the terracotta because you're so pale.
Once again, I think we are reliving movie 1, but in a more upscaled way, because we had the wardrobe scene. It was the time of the change where she changed from being this average girl to this high fashion siren that was so beautiful and that was wearing all of the high-end brands. So we're getting that again. It's another flashback of an iconic moment, and it's making me think that maybe we're gonna get just that, stepping back into the old movie and remaking it for the fans, which would be sad.
My neck is hot. Oh my God, just hide a feeling for once, please.
I just love my job.
Something different that I'm seeing is Andy's attitude. I think that she has a lot more confidence in herself. In this scenario, we're seeing her a lot more like an equal of Miranda. And I like that because she cannot be overseen and used as much. She kind of knows her worth. I have to say, I enjoyed the first trailer more. It was giving me a little bit more. I have seen a critique of this trailer that was looking at the fact that it is cool toned and that it has a blue filter on that gives twilight, and that is very different from the first one that was a lot brighter. And now that I look back at the clips, you can actually see that it's a bit darker and not as bright. And I think that is quite fun that in cinema we are dulling the tones quite a bit, while on YouTube we are pushing the tones out. We want to be bright, eerie, so much sunshine. So it's quite a difference, and I don't really know why that is, but overall I do see the difference, and I don't know how it's gonna play out in the final movie. I don't know or think that they've based this movie on the book too much. I think this is gonna be a movie sequel based on the first movie, more so than a movie sequel based on the book. In the book so far, I've not gone all the way through it. I will update you on that. But we have Andy and Emily being friends. They have established a new magazine together, and they are going strong. Andy is getting married with someone called Max, which is a very high name in the industry, and there is chemistry between them. Emily is still Emily, but she is still friends with Andy. They go together. She has had a very brilliant career. And at the beginning, we have the scene that I think was in the first trailer that we got, a throwback to The Office and nightmares that she's having of Miranda. So that trailer, I think, was giving me more book vibes. This one is giving me more, it's just based on the movie for the fansies and to make the fans of the first movie appeased. I finished the book, and I have to second a lot that I've said before finishing the book, and I also have to say that the direction that the book seemed to maybe want to have could have been to navigate pregnancy during your career, and that could have been interesting because that is a topic that is still very relevant. People are not willing to have children because that would disrupt their career. They would be afraid of not being able to grow, and therefore having children is something that is postponed more and more and more because people don't want to have to deal with that until they are stable in their career and until they have achieved all that they wanted to achieve. So I think that that would have been an interesting angle. What happens in the book is that Andy gets pregnant, and that is something that is unexpected but very welcomed, and with her husband they are very, very happy, and despite there being tension, it's a very happy occurrence. When it comes down to the book, Andy and Emily pairing up and creating this magazine, The Plunge, high-end fashion for weddings and interviews to stars and all of that jazz. I've seen people comment that the title of the magazine was atrocious and never in a billion years people would actually use it as a title, which yes, but as well I liked the idea that they were able to pair up and do something of their own together. There are issues in the books and things that I would not love to see. Starting with the personalities of the people in the book are quite empty. And I've seen that in comments, and I've also thought that while reading the book. When it comes to Andy, she is quite childish, and there is this idea that the time at Miranda's was so traumatic that she's unable to look past it. And she's constantly hyperventilating, constantly being stressed about Miranda and about being called up by Miranda to do something, about anything that relates to Miranda. And so it's a total phobia, fear that doesn't go away. After 10 years, the book starts with her dreaming about Miranda's endless expectations and her being saved by her husband. So that is something that is so deeply ingrained in her psyche that it doesn't go away. And I think that that would require therapy. There is so much power that she gives to Miranda to ruin her day. The fact that she constantly sweats, that makes her even more evil into the reader's eyes, because it looks like she really cannot be stopped. So it's been 10 years. After 10 years, there's a lot you can move past. Then we get to Emily, and Emily is empty. There is nothing really going on with this girl, despite the fact that she is fashion obsessed. She is very, very good at choosing clothes, and Andy relies on her for the fashion suggestions. In this case, it takes away from what we got in the movie about Andy being able to, at the end, nail her style, know what looked good on her, and not being super pressured into dieting and being thin. At the end of the movie, I think that she had lost some weight, but at the same time she had gained back confidence and dignity, and she was very pretty at her size without wanting to starve herself, which is what Emily does for the length of the movie to fit into the hyper thin standards of the industry. We are getting, after all, a whiplash onto nowadays standards where literally all of the stars look like they have fallen ill to the most outrageous eating disorder, which is not good at all. In the movie, Emily is a character, a full-fledged character. She is very career obsessed, but we get more. In the book, I didn't get much more than that. The relationship between the two of them is something else that irked me a little bit, because she has doubts because she discovers a letter from his mother on the day of the wedding. Well, it says that he has encountered the ex and she is the one that he should marry and all of that, and she disapproves of Andy.
And here I still mean the mother. She disapproves of Andy and wants him to marry his ex.
But that's not the thing. That is a way of telling us that he is very comfortable hiding things from his bride. And that is something that overall is a red flag, a total red flag. He is still very kind and considerate overall, but he has ideas of possessiveness, and it's something that Andy is really upset by, but she says, okay, now we have the wedding, it's going on, and so she goes down the island. The relationship falls apart throughout the book, and cherry on top, at the end, we discover that he has completely betrayed Andy by going behind her back, selling the plant to Elias Clark, which is basically Miranda's domain. It's disgusting. It is the final nail on the head, the final excuse why she leaves him, which is something that I don't really like because there is a lack of communication, and I hate this trope. It was why I hated Ali Hazelwood's books, because it was so in your face. Maybe people act like that. I think that in books we can do better. And there is this lack of communication that goes on from the beginning between Andy and him. She avoids like the plague the discussion about selling the plant. He constantly saying, oh, but this is in your best interest, this is for you, I wouldn't want you to do something against yourself. So they are on completely different ends of the scales. And I think that what we lack from this partner, like any of the other Andy partners, is respect for the person she chooses to be and for the person she has become. Because she might be childish, she might be very traumatized by Miranda and being kind of backwards in her state of mind. She's still there, still terrified, but at the same time she chose to be this person that wants to be independent beyond Miranda. That's her choice, and that has been a choice that has to be respected. And he doesn't respect that at all and wants to do what's best for her in his mind, something I totally hate, because what's best for another person you cannot dictate. And sometimes if people are ill, I do understand that that's the case, but in that case I think that he just overstepped. He sounded fake to me in many of the scenes. I've seen people saying that he was actually a great person, and then we get the thing that he becomes mean. No, I didn't see that at all in their relationship. I saw him quite a bit as manipulative, and they are equally as manipulative. She's avoidant, she doesn't want to deal with the conversations, she hides the fact that she encountered his ex and they had breakfast together. She's constantly not wanting to go into work to avoid conversations, so she is not crystal clear and behaving the best way she can. I am sorry for the child. What we get at the end of the book is her walking out on Miranda again, walking out on Emily, walking out on everyone else that betrayed her. In one regard, what this ending gives us is the lack of depth and understanding that we got in the movie. The fact that Emily sells out the company to Miranda, I've seen people say that she's starstruck by Miranda and she is still enamored, but I don't think that that is the case. I think that if you look at it in a more objective way, if you are someone in the industry and you get a purchase offer by the biggest competitor in your field, it's gonna be enticing, because aside from Miranda herself, we get this great opportunity that I do understand people falling over for. And I do understand Emily's betrayal more than Andy's husband. She is in the game, she understands what it's like, she is career obsessed. So the fact of being acquired by a bigger company, the biggest company, is obviously something that is very enticing. At the same time, I do see that Miranda was just exploiting her position as the previous boss of those girls to exploit her weaknesses. When it came down to it, she remembers every one of them, she knows exactly what their weaknesses are and wants to exploit them to a T. What we get from Miranda in this book is exactly what we expect. A person that is not afraid at all of going against others to achieve what she wants. She sees this successful magazine and happens to be the one that her previous employees that she exploited, fired, abused in the past, and she has the possibility of acquiring it for a high price, yes, but then be the boss again. And she cannot stand the fact that Andy and Emily are successful now and that they built their own thing aside from her. They are still growing. That was the real reason behind it all and why they shouldn't have fallen for it. It comes down to the characters really not giving their best at all, and when it comes down to Andy, she shouldn't be surprised that it didn't work out, because she said, oh yeah, everyone understood where I was at and that I didn't want it. Well, she should have been more vocal about it, and in so many scenes she's just stepping away, changing the subject, not wanting to deal with it. She was just using the baby as an excuse to not go to work and not deal with her responsibilities. That's how I saw it. We didn't get a truthful, beautiful portrayal of what it was like to have a child in a very highly competitive environment. And so people are gonna do what they're gonna do their worst. They are all behaving like trash. I couldn't give much to this book. I gave it 2 stars, I think. We get a scene in the book where there is this shamble of her having talked with this celebrity. She talked about the beautiful love she had and how she found it, why she loved it, and all of that. And then we get to the day of the wedding and she doesn't show up. They have this very, very stressful moment. Everything comes in, they have to brainstorm, they have to change everything, and everything is in shambles for a night of 2. And they show us this portrayal of them stressing out about this, and then the celebrity marries again and she does another marriage, so it's great and beautiful and everything works out. I don't know why they gave us this scene. Is it to show us a comparison between what stress looks like in a healthy work environment vs Miranda's work environment, or is it something else? Because to me it gave us nothing. I think it was just a cheap way of getting into issues and problems and showing us how they deal with them. At the end of the day, it was all wasted time. Nothing mattered at the end because they were able to go back in their original thing and doing the number with what they wanted. Talk expectations. In movie number 1, the impression that I got was at the end of the movie, everything was being resolved. Andy was going to work for a new magazine. She patched up things with her boyfriend at the time. And there is also a romantic element in the novel that I'm not seeing at all here. And maybe the trailer is overshadowing it. Maybe it's not going to be the center of attention. Here, I don't know if we will have the romantic element by Andy. I think that to some degree that would clash with the girl boss idea that we have been presented with, that if you rely on a man, you're not as good. When it comes to the relationship with Emily and Andy, they knew each other before, they are colleagues, they are friends, and in this case it doesn't really look like they are. And when it comes down to career as well, we have Andy being this professional that is very successful, and that is why Miranda goes back to her, and I think that that is a possibility. I would be the most disappointed by is if we take it out there completely. The messaging of the first book was that you go away from the devil. The devil is Miranda.
I also meant to say that it's not only Miranda, but she's the embodiment of toxic work culture, where we have a person that is unable to step away from work. Work is your 24/7 that takes away your dignity, will to live all of your relationship. There is nothing besides work, and that is all they do, and that is all that Andy rejects.
Sacrificing everyone and everything you have in your life and going to pursue the career the way she wanted it and the way that she considered appropriate without losing her integrity, which is what she did for the vast majority of the movie. I would be very disappointed if that messaging was lost in this movie. If we don't have the romantic partner, because we don't really see it in the trailer, or some kind of private life, some kind of balance, I think that it kind of goes against what we have seen in the ending of the first movie, and it could signify that instead of going against that philosophy as she did in the first movie, she just blends with it and submits to the culture of that work willingly at that point, that to be successful, that is what you need to do, that is how you need to be, and that is all you need to sacrifice by the end. So that is a big worry that I have. I really hope that they will give us characters that are characters, and they will respond to modern day issues in a timely way. And I hope to see this workplace novel actualized and made better by the movie. And I hope we don't get a copycat of movie 1 to get into movie 2. So we want to see the evolution. I really hope you liked my review, my comparison, and if you did, please like, subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one.